सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारंभं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा श्रुति स्मृति पुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शंकरं लोकशंकरं पुराण न्याय मीमांसा धर्मशास्त्रांग मिश्रिताः वेदाः स्थानानि विद्यानां धर्मस्य च चतुर्दश आयुर्वेदो धनुर्वेदो गान्धर्वश्चैव ते त्रयः अर्थशास्त्रं चतुर्थं तु विद्याः अष्टादशैव ताः ओम शांति शांति शांति. Namaste. I welcome everyone who is watching this video. This video is fourth in a new series of videos brought to you by Indica Bhasha with the well-known Professor Gauri Mahulikar ji. Just a quick introduction to the first three talks of the series, their titles. The first one was Contemporary Sanskrit Literature, Introduction to Different Genres. Second was Harish Chandra Renapurkar ji's contribution to Sanskrit, and that was followed by Patriotic Literature in Sanskrit. Today, the fourth one is titled Biographical Literature in Sanskrit. I welcome you, Gauriji, to share your views on this topic.
Hari Om. Thank you, Indica Bhasha, for this wonderful opportunity. And this is a nice initiative to reach out to the people with the contemporary trends in Sanskrit. Because normally Sanskrit is regarded as a language of Vedas and Vedantas, Bhagavad Gita and Upanishads, but there are much more genres which Sanskrit can deal with. And in that shrinkhala, we are going to deal with biographical literature in Sanskrit. So there are many biographical literature. In fact, I have a list also with me. Especially for the leaders, there are many biographies written by well-known authors. For example, if you take Mahatma Gandhi Charitam, then Mahatma Gandhi Charitam is written by 3-4 people. Lokanath Shastri in 1964. Then 1962, it is Sadhu Sharan Mishra with 19 sargas. Then 1973, it is Virendra Kumar Vaidya, and one by Brahmananda Shukla having more than 100 verses. So Mahatma Gandhi being a very popular leader, there are too many charitras for him. There is Nehru Charitam, again by Brahmananda Shukla, the same author who wrote about Mahatma Gandhi, and Balabhadra Prasad Shastri, written in 1969 by Brahmananji, having 18 sargas and more than 800 verses. And Balabhadraji in 1975 in 12 sargas, more than almost 600 verses. Then Indira Gandhi Charitam. Indira Gandhi Charitam, the most famous, and on that some of our students from Mumbai University have done MPhil dissertation as well. It is by Satyavrat Shastri, the first Jnanapita awardee for Sanskrit, Satyavrat Shastri, in 1976. And it has 25 sargas and 879 verses. And there is by Harishchandra Renapurkar also, I think I might have referred to that while dealing with Harishchandra Renapurkar's literature. He has given Indira Patana Utthanam, both. And he doesn't hesitate at all to criticize Indira Gandhi for imposing emergency rule also. So it is a very unbiased sort of biography of Indira Gandhi in almost 230 verses. Then there is Guru Govind Singha Charita, again by Satyavrat Shastri, 4 sargas. Subhash Bose, Subhash Charitam, by Vishwanath Keshav Chhatre from Nashik, Maharashtra. And he is a very famous writer of Sanskrit, and he has done many biographical literature. So one is Subhash Charitam. Then Ambedkar Darshanam, there is one more by Baldev Singh Mehra in 17 sargas, more than 1,000 verses. There is Sudama Charitam, based on the Kuchaila Akhyana by Pundarikaksha Mishra and Saliram Chandra Rao, and both have more than 500 verses. There is Satanama Gauravam, a Mahakavya by Mithila Prasad Tripathi, and this is based on Guru Ghasitaram Mahakavya. This is a Mahakavya based on Guru Ghasitaram. And this is quite recent one, I mean just 10-13 years ago, 2010, he has written this. Apart from that, there is Gwaladeva Charita. This is very unique, I must say, in the sense it has 27 sargas and more than 2,000 verses. This is the longest which I can lay my hand upon. He was a folk, what you can say, king who was considered as God. He was the king of Kumaon region of Himalayas, Gwaladeva. And Harinarayana Dikshita, he has written this, and he was a professor of a university in Kumaon, Harinarayana Dikshit. He had spent down the literary, in literature, Sanskrit literature, the life and works and his philanthropy and his bravery of that king, you know. So I feel this is a very unique one, because mostly, you know, we have seen these are like the famous characters on whom we have seen the literary things done. But then, of course, Vainayakam by Baba Parsule, on Vinayak Damodar Savarkar, Swatantrivir Savarkar. Then Shivarajyodayam by Sridhar Bhaskar Varnekar, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. And Tilaka Yashoranava by Lokanayak Ane on Bal Gangadhar Tilak. Yeah, so these are some more, you know, biographical literatures. But today, after taking a review of what all biographical literature is available in modern Sanskrit for the students of Sanskrit literature, I would like to deal in detail about one charitra, that is Chanakya Charita. Chanakya Charita, here is a book, Chanakya Charita, and this is an old copy now, which I found in our library. This was published by Krishnadas Academy, Varanasi, and the author is Thakur Prasad Mishra from Mauritius, not from India, from Mauritius, and Mani is his pet name. So this is a political life of Chanakya, the great Kautilya who wrote Arthashastra, the most, what you can say, in the ancient Indian period. He stands as an embodiment of patriotism, you know, valor and patriotism, and the real kingmaker, I should say, the real kingmaker. He made Chandragupta the king, right? And we know the history. This Thakur Prasad Mishra has penned down this biography, and he says that he belongs to Mauritius, and you know, he is very much influenced, I should say, from what I have read, because I read it in detail before writing an article in this contemporary trends of Sanskrit literature, emerging trends in contemporary Sanskrit literature. There is an article on Chanakya Charita, a critical study. So before writing this, of course, I have gone through the entire Charita. Fortunately, I got a copy of this in our SIP library as well. Now, because he is so very influenced by Banabhatta, the greatest of the prose writers, I should say, in Sanskrit literature. Of course, there is Dandi also is there. Subandhu is also there. But Subandhu becomes too unintelligible because of Pratyakshara Shlesha. Dandi, of course, writes in a simple language. Dandinaha Padalalityam, as we say, Dashakumari Charita and all. I have studied Dashakumara also. But Bana writes at the same time in all the available 4 styles of Gadya. It is, Churanaka, Muktaka, Vrittagandhi and Utkalika. These are the 4 styles we can say for writing Sanskrit Gadya. Churanaka, where, Muktaka basically, the words are simple words and there is no samasa. Asamasta padanam vakya rachana. Okay, and therefore it is Muktaka, free from the samasas. So that is Muktaka. Churanaka are 1 or 2, little, 2 or 3 words only. Otherwise, Bana writes in such a complex manner. A sentence can run for pages. That's what people say, and it is true. In Harsha Charita, we have. So, but Churanaka is little, like Churana, they're scattered here and there. Vrittagandhi is a very, what you can say, rhythmic style, as if it's not a prose, you are reading a poetry. Vrittagandhi, it's prosodial prose, you can say. And Utkalika is, thickly covered with samasas. Too many compounded words, like you can take Vindhyatavi Varnana of Bana or the Jabala. Jabala Rishi Varnana is very simple, Vishlesha of course, but he writes simple. Now, why I'm quoting Bana Bhatta in such a detail is our author, Thakur Prasad Mishra or Mani, is greatly influenced by Bana. In fact, you can compare and contrast. You can take an extract from Bana Bhatta's Kadambari or Harsha Charita and place some of the passages from Chanakya Charita here. I will read a few of them, and those who have read Bana can easily remember to what it can really match, right? So he is greatly influenced by Bana Bhatta. That is number 1. Secondly, he is greatly influenced by Mudra Rakshasa, the Nataka, written by Vishakadatta, maybe in 6th century or so. So this is a very famous and the only drama we can say which can be called a political drama in Sanskrit. So no Stri Patra, hardly 1 or 2, but no prominence given to them, no Shrungara, nothing of that sort. And purely political drama. And these are all like, like a chess play, checkmate people are doing in the chess play, Chaturanga. So similarly, Chanakya on one hand and Rakshasa, Amatya Rakshasa, the devoted minister of the Nandas on the other hand, and how they are moving, they are doing the moves and the counter moves to overcome each other, So that's a very famous drama. So our author is immensely indebted to Vishakadatta as well, because so many characters like Malayaketu, Chandanadasa, Shakatadasa, and Siddharthaka, so many characters he has borrowed from Vishakadatta. So with these 2 sources with him, of course, he has his own ingenuity and his own style. And in an era where Sanskrit was almost regarded as a dead language, in the 20th century, to pen down such a profound Sanskrit literary composition is itself a very challenge, and that our author has successfully fulfilled. Now, as Bana Bhatta writes about his lineage in a very, what you can say, divine manner. Similarly, Thakur Prasad also writes about his lineage. He says that he traces his lineage to sage Bhrigu. Okay, he traces his lineage to sage Bhrigu, and yeah. And then he says it was, gives a family tree of from Shavanti's son Dattantarama, who settled in Mauritius on the respect of his father and Guru. And then he became a devotee of Kali and begot 3 sons. The eldest was Madhava, the great scholar. Then Mani was the second son. The author is the second son of the three sons, and very intelligent, outstandingly intelligent poet, and he excelled in many disciplines and many areas of Sanskrit learning. He is a multilingual man. He has the perfect knowledge of Vedas, Agamas, then Nyaya Shastra, Vyakarana, Chandas Shastra. And for a writer, normally, for any artist per se, it is stated for an author or a kavi, what are the three things which are required the most? It is the pratibha, his own, pratibha, shemushi, we can call pradnya, which we can say. There has to be an inborn. Everybody can't be a poet, everybody can't be an author, right? So there has to be an inborn genius, that is pratibha, but that genius has to be nurtured by training. It has to be developed, otherwise it will get rusted. And for that there is Vritpatti, that is training in various sciences and disciplines of knowledge. And third comes Abhyasa, doing a thing repeatedly, over and over again. So Pratibha, Vitpatti, Abhyasa, and Mani has excelled in all three. He has a genius, he has Vitpatti. I quoted so many branches of knowledge he is trained into, and he has been practicing that, and therefore there is Abhyasa as well. Unless a person has all these three, he can't produce masterpieces. So this is the work. Now this work is about Chanakya, the greatest of the patriotic leaders and the kingmakers of ancient India, and how he was, grieved and filled with pathos to see that almost the western frontier, the northwestern part of Hindustan, of Bharat, was already captured by the invaders, the Mlechas, and nobody was doing anything. So in that, that agony, he alone, he is a Brahmana, he is a Pandit. How alone he can do? There has to be a Kshatriya who should come and do that, right? So in that agony, he is wandering here and there. And in that wandering, he comes to Varanasi. And Varanasi, he wins in the debates and all. And then the king wants to give him a purse filled with money. He says, what am I, a mendicant like a Pandit? What have I to do with that money? So I want your Kshatra Bala. But then he says, I alone can't do it. So in the nearby, this is Varanasi, right? Nearby there is Magadha. It is not Magadha, it is Pushpapura or Kusumapura or Pataliputra. And there King Sarvartha Siddhi is ruling. He has a great army. We can read some of the descriptions of the army. So he has a great army. If only that king helps me, I conquer the Mlechas. So with that intention, Chanakya comes to Magadha. Now I am calling it Magadha. And at the outskirts of the Magadha, he meets his old friend with whom he had studied, called Indu Sharma. These are all the characters there in the Vishakadatta's Mudra Rakshasa as well. Okay. And then he listens to that Vedic chanting and identifies, oh, this must be a Gurukula. He meets his friend. And then from his friend, he learns all the what you can say, the information, gathers all the information about Sarvartha Siddhi and the Navanandans. Sarvartha Siddhi was a great king. He was kind to the people, but his 8 sons, they were tyrants. They wanted to exploit the praja and get everything for their own amusement and entertainment. Unfortunately, Sarvartha Siddhi didn't have any hold over his own sons. Secondly, Sarvartha Siddhi was weak in the sense that he got attracted to beautiful women quite often. And one such woman was Mura. Of course, there were plenty of dasis which he had, and he produced many illegitimate sons. So the legitimate sons of Nanda, all were called Nanda. They are from Shishunaga family, the dynasty, all called Nandas. So these 8 Nandas, the legitimate sons, they were afraid of the illegitimate progeny, the children of Sarvartha Siddhi, and they wanted to get rid of all of them one by one. Now, one such illegitimate son, born of a Dasi called Mura, was Maurya. He is the hero, the Chandragupta, who is made into a king later on by Chanakya. So this is how the story comes. And he gathers all that information from his friend Indu Sharma, and how later on Indu Sharma, he makes him the chief of his intelligence bureau. He has his own spying system. In fact, if you read Kautilya Arthashastra, this work, of course, has to be read in the light of Arthashastra, because in the Arthashastra, you have this spy espionage chapter, and if you don't read that, then you won't understand what are the Satrin, what are the charas, who are wandering charas, or one who are stationary charas and all that. So this also has to be studied. So we can see 3 sources for Thakur Prasad Mishra or Mani. That is this one, Banavatta is the main source. Then Vishakhadatta for the patras and all the characters and all that. And for the strategic planning, what Chanakya might have thought of, his moves and counter moves, of course, Kautilya Arthashastra. So this, in short, is the storyline. Then how he meets Chandragupta Maurya, and how he is fascinated by his leadership qualities. Though he is hiding, from the other Nandas, he is hiding so that to save himself. But then ultimately, Chanakya finds him. Nandas can't find him. Chanakya finds him. And this is how he identifies him and sees in him the future king, the Sarvabhauma king of Bharata, who can bring under one umbrella Eka Chhatri Rajya, under one umbrella all the Gana Rajyas or the Janapadas which are scattered, and nobody has any control over anybody. And now to talk on this topic on the Prajasattaka Dina, I really feel it is, we solemnly resolve that we are a Sarvabhauma country, and exactly that is the thing which Chanakya also wanted to have. So this has some 9 sections, okay? And every section I have given in detail something in that. But then I don't want to read everything of that. But 8th and 9th section, yeah. So what I can do is, like, how critically we can evaluate this. If critically reviewed on the criteria of the content and the characterization and the style, these are the 3 categories which I have done. So how the plot is constructed. He has the theme. Now how our author, Mani, constructs the plot, a story for everything, and how he portrays various characters in that. So it is not just a historical biography of Chanakya that is presented before us, and that we have seen in the TV serial also by Chandra Prakash Dwivedi, a very famous serial. But then he has gone beyond all that, literary beauty and the characterizations. As Kalidas or Bhavabhuti or Bhasa would pay more attention in character portrayals. Similarly, Mani has done more effort, has put in more efforts for character building of Chanakya. The purpose of arrival of Chanakya in Pataliputra is very unique and innovative. And the goal of Chanakya is also very unique. That is to unite all these scattered kingdoms under one rule, so that the unity, that strength which could be provided, that could fight against the Yavanas or the Mlecchas. So unless we are united, we can't fight the invaders. That is as simple as that. Even now, we have to remember the same thing. Unless we stand united, we can't fight the Akranta, right? So, what Chanakya has been teaching us, we are forgetting now and then. So this is what Chanakya is planning. He devises a plan. The Chandragupta and Chanakya meet, and then it is a plan device whereby Chanakya gets humiliated by Nanda. So it is planned. We all know the story that Chanakya goes in the court of Nandas, and then Nandas humiliate him, and then he removes the tie of his shikha and keeps his hair open, loose, disheveled, and he makes a pratigna vow that till the Nandas are vanquished, he will not tie the shikha. So all that scene is created. Now here, because these are poetic licenses, and this is how they plan it. He devises a plan whereby Chanakya gets humiliated by Nanda. This variation is not, you can't justify it on all the grounds, especially from the point of view of Chandragupta's character. But then this deliberate plotting by Chandragupta. Chandragupta plots this. So this deliberate plotting by Chandragupta has Chanakya humiliated in the court, and thereafter the whole drama starts, right? And Chanakya is on a mission that Magadha would join hands with Varanasi, that king, he has met against the Mlechas. But now with the Nandas in opposite party, this mission also fails because Nandas are too powerful. Nandas are very, very powerful, and they are not in favor of joining hands with Chanakya. So Chanakya first encounters how to annihilate the Nandas, and then get Rakshasa Amatya in his favor, strengthen, Chandragupta's party, and then only he can achieve his mission. His ultimate goal is to vanquish the Mlechas and stop them, coming eastwards, conquering the land of Bharata Bhumi. So that is his mission. But unless first he eradicates this thorn of the Nandas, he can't proceed further. So all his energy, most of his energy is lost in vanquishing the Nandas. Okay. And then there is a Veerabhadra, the commander-in-chief, and all that. So there are so many characters he has devised of. Now, coming to the style, of course, in the plot and characterization, much can be said, but I would like the interested people to go through the book and read the article for themselves. So this poet, our author Mani, is a master of language and other poetic skills. And he has composed the prose, though it's a prose, it's Charita, it's not in poetry, it's prose, in a scholarly yet charming style. Scholarly, no doubt, but still it is charming as well. And he has originality of concepts and an ornate style of expression, ornamental style, figurative style, figures of speech, etc. He uses. I'll read some of the examples. He displays his command over Sanskrit grammar, prose styles of various types I just mentioned, Churanaka, Vrittagandhi, Muktaka, and all. And he has made a judicious use of all these types wherever they are suitable according to the situations, according to the demands of the situations and occasions. He has used the peculiar styles. And I think I should start with his verse, the first verse which he writes to Saraswati. This is an old torn book. Few things are there, where he has given the verse forms in the Amukha, in the Mangala Charana and all that. His, yeah, where is that verse? Well, I'll read it from the book. He salutes Saraswati Devi by saying, not Saraswati Devi, he salutes Parvati, Sharvani. Sharvani, Sharva is Shiva, Sharvani is Parvati. Sharvani Nirvana Padam Nayache. I don't want moksha. Sharvani Nirvana Padam Nayache, Girvana Bhuyam Nahivarthitam me. Or I should be recognized as the greatest of Sanskrit poet, Girvana Bhuyam. So Sharvana, Girvana, Nirvana, all alliterative. So Girvana Bhuyam Nahivarthitam me, Girvana Vani Rasanagra Range, Vilasa Nrityam Pratanotu Nityam. Girvana Vani, again that Girvana, Nirvana, see, it is in continuation. Girvana Vani Rasanagra Range, Rasanagra Range. Rasanagra, the tip of the tongue is as if the Rangashala, the Rangamancha. On that Rangamancha, Vilasa Nrityam Pratanotu Nityam. Who? This Girvanavani, let the Sanskrit knowledge dance on the tip of my tongue, as if a great dancer, a nartaki, is doing all the Vilasa Nritya. Similarly, Saraswati Nrityatu Vachi Me Sada. I often quote, start with this verse, Sura Sura Sevita Pada Pankaja, Kare Virajat Kamaniya Pustaka, Virinchi Patni Kamalasanasthita, Saraswati Nrityatu Vachi Me Sada. So Rasanagra Range, Vilasa Nrityam Pratanotu Nityam. Nrityam, Nityam, so many alliterative things. So this is a very nice composition. First he starts with that. And then I will read a few passages. This is a very old book. So Chandragupta's description, when Chanakya first sees Chandragupta, in the third Nishvasa, he has named each chapter as Nishvasa. In Banabhatta's Harsha Charita, it is Uchvasa. So Uchvasa, Nishvasa, Kanda, Parva, Adhyaya, these are the different names for the sections. Okay. So Ekaha Chandraguptaha Yohi Balye Eva Abala Buddhihi. So apparently there is a Virodha Alankara, but then because of the pun on the words, the Virodha is Paririta. Balye eva abala buddhi. Balya and bala buddhi. But it is abala buddhi. Sambhavita mahodayaha. Udayagirihi iva mitrodayarambhaha. He is like a Udayagiri, like the eastern mountain, who helps the sun to rise. So mitrodaya arambha. Mitra, there is a pun on the word Mitra. Mitra is sun, like Mitra Varuna, the day sun, the daylight, and Varuna is the night sun or night light. Anyhow, so Mitrodaya and Mitra could be friend. One of the Saptanga, according to Chanakya in the Arthashastra, Swami Amatya, Janapada, Durga, Kosha, Danda, and Mitra, right? So Mitrodayarambha, Nishakara iva Kalanidhihi. He is like a Nishakara, that is Chandra, Kalanidhihi. Kala, the digits of the moon, and here for Chandragupta, various kalas. He is the Nidhi of various kalas. Nishakara iva Kalanidhihi. Uri Krita Vidyaiva Vinitaha, Ashravaiva Gurujana Priyaha, Shishtaiva Vishishtanukaranashilaha, Vrishalopi Viprapriyaha. He is called Vrishala. In fact, Vrishala is a peculiar word. This is a slang word in a sense. This is like a person who is low born. He is called Vrishala. And I may tell you, Vishakhadatta in his Mudra Rakshasa makes Chanakya address Chandragupta every time as Vrishala. Every time, Vrishala. So Vrishalopi, though he is Vrishala, a Shudra, still Viprapriyaha. Still Viprapriyaha. A Samskritopi, Samskritachara Vicharaha. A Samskrita, because of his Vrishalatva, his Shudratva, he is not Samskrita, but still Samskritachara Vicharaha. Upekshitopi Samrakshitachara Vyavaharaha Asit. So this is a typical Banabhatta style. You know, this is typical Banabhatta. Then Nandasya, I was telling you that how Nandas were very powerful kings of Pushpapura. And that's why Varanasi king told them to take help of the Nandas to defeat the Mlechas, right? So for Nandas, the army is described like this. Tadanim asan Nandasya asamanani sangramodbhata bhata patala durjeyani balisthani katakani pravibhaktani chaturshu angeshu. Chaturanga Sainya. Chaturanga Bala or Chaturanga Sainya. So what was all that? There are elephants, there are horses, there are rathas, and there are padati. This is the Chaturanga. Okay. So there is a description of all that. Tathahi Vajra Sauhananam Vishal Shilochaya Sannikashanam Matta Matangajanam Lakshamekam. He had 1,00,000 elephants. Lakshamekam. Matangajanam. How they are? Matta Matangajanam. Matta, intoxicated. That is in their full youth, not the old ones who are about to die and not too young who can't fight. So, Matta Matangajanam and Vishala Shilochaya Sannikashanam. They are as tall and as dark as if it looks like a heap of boulders and rocks put on one on the other. One above the other. Vishala, Shila, Uchchaya. That is the Rashi. What? Heap of the Shilas. Sannikasha, Sannibha. So Vishala, Shilochaya, Sannikashana, Matta Matangajanam, Lakshamekam. Then the horses. Horses come from where? Balhika, Kamboja, Parasika, Saindhava Turaganam. Horses normally come from the ocean, they say, right? And therefore, the submarine fire is called Vadavanala. Vadava in Sanskrit also is a mare, a female horse, okay? So, Balhika, so the horses from these areas, Cambodia, Balhika, the northwestern part, Gandhara and all, Parasika, Iran, they were very famous. So, Balhika, Cambodia, Parasika, Saindhava Turaganam, Javadhikanam, Lakshatrayam, very speedy horses, 3,00,000. 3,00,000 horses. Vitatikrita Pararthanam, Rathanam, Laksha Chatushtayam, 4,00,000 chariots. That means 4,00,000 rathis. If there are rathas, there have to be rathis. And then Ayutam cha Padatinam Samshaptakanam. And the Padati, Ayuta 20 lakhs. So Ayutam cha Padatinam Samshaptakanam. Sarve cha Nishadinaha, Sadinaha, Shaktikaha. Along with that, there were Nishada, the wild forest warriors, and they were Shaktikaha with Shakti, Dhanushkaha with arrows and bones, and Bhishita Bhishana Shatravaha. They are Bhishana and therefore Bhishita. They are frightening their enemies. Bhishita Bhishana Shatravaha. Kulisha Kathe Kathina Kalevaraha. Their bodies as strong, as robust as Kulisha Vajra. Kulisha is Vajra. Parigha Pivara Bhujadandaha. Because there are forest warriors, the tribal warriors, they are rugged and rustic, heavily built, robust built and all that. So, Parigha Pivara Bhujadandaha. Their Bhujadanda are as strong as the Parigha of a Durga, of a forest. Of a fort. Durga Parigha, okay? So, Parigha Pivara Bhujadanda. Parigha, by the way, is iron ring. So, their biceps and triceps maybe. So, their arms are so strong as if they are made up of iron, okay? So, see the description also, it gives you a picturesque description so that you can visualize such warriors in front of you. And then he says, this is typical of Banabhatta style. Bhima api Duryodhanaha. They are Bhima and Duryodhana. Now, how they can be Bhima and Duryodhana at one and the same time? So, Bhima, Bhayankara. And Duryodhana, difficult to fight with, fight against. Duryodhana, okay? Bhima api Duryodhana. Otherwise, there is a Virodha. How can Bhima be Duryodhana, right? But then you take the meaning and then it becomes clear. You can't take them as the characters of the Mahabharata. You take them with their etymological meaning. Dhritarashtra api Dushasana Dveshinaha. Though they are Dhritarashtra, they are hating Dushasana. Now, how can Dhritarashtra be hating Dushasana? Right? Now, this is not the father hating his own son, Duryodhana Dushasana. It is Dhritarashtraha api. They as if hold the country with their muscle power. And they are Dushasana Dveshinaha. They are the haters of bad governance. Dushtam, Shasanam. Bad governance. Okay. Meghanadaha api Vibhishanaha. They are Meghanada as well as Vibhishana. How can it be? So their cries, Megha, when they cry, war cries, they are as loud as the rumbling of the clouds. Meghasya nadaha iva nadaha yesham te. But Vibhishanaha, and they are frightening. Because their war cries and their build, that itself is frightening to the Bhishita Bhishana Shatravaha, right? Yan vikshya sapakshaha pratipakshaha kshanenaiva kshayamaishishuhu. See the alliteration. Sapakshaha vipakshaha. Sapaksha and pratipaksha, the people in their own army and people in the opposite army, they will be kshanena, in a moment, kshayamaishishuhu. They will meet their ruin or calamity. Okay, that they will be dying. So this is how he describes. So his description power is, very, very, very unique. And then one more thing I would like to read. When he writes in simple language, I should read something simple also, right? Saha saharsham abhashata. Mahabhaishihi. Small sentences. Like Banabhatta writes, in the Lakshmi Varnanam, Shukanasa Krita Upadesha, in the Shukanasa Upadesha, there is a Lakshmi Varna. Ya Paripalita api Parapalayate. Gandharva Nagara Lekheva Pashyate eva Nashyati. Ya what na pramani karoti. Jatakam na pramani karoti. Na gunan ganayati. Like that, small sentences. Mahabhaishihi Sachandambhana. Yat sthitam antaratmani tava. जो भी मन में है खुले दिल से बात करो. यत् स्थितम अंतरात्मनि तव स्वच्छंदम्भण. अर्थवत्ते चेद वचः. If your words do have meaning, grahishyamah, will accept. Anyatha vihasyamah, anyatha will reject. Hitaishinam spashanam kimapi kurvatam vadatam na kopi doshah. So one spy is coming and spy is going to tell something to Chanakya. And Chanakya says, whatever you have in mind, you swairambhana, swachandambhana, because those who are hitaishi and those who are spasha, that is the spies, whatever they do and whatever they say, the narrate, na kopi dosha. There is no dosha, because we have to take what is acceptable and what is not acceptable, you can reject it. Alamanyatha vishankaya. Okay. So this is how he builds up the confidence in the spies to speak the truth. Otherwise, the spies will be hesitant to speak the truth in front of the king. And then akhete, pane, bhojane, durodare, wherever you go and whatever you do, whatever you see, when you go to eat with somebody, you go roaming with somebody, or akhete, the spies are spread all over in the enemy party. So Akhet also, if you go for Mrigaya, for hunting also you go. Kshapanaka Gobhiladayah Katham na jananti, Kaha Katham Ka Asmakam Senapatim Ghatayitum Garalam Adat. So who, how, when, why poisoned our Senapati? So tell me the truth. So these are some things, very simple sentences also he writes there. And Evamalam Vikatya Amangalam Aham Bahudha Vishanke Divi Shachiva Bhumau Natvadvyatirikta Kapi Bhavita. So these are like simple sentences also he writes there. So this is how he writes. And so one thing I want to make clear again, for his grammar skill, the linguistic style of this author, he uses very rarely used grammatical forms in the modern literature. In the contemporary Sanskrit literature, it is basically a simple Sanskrit, Sarala Sanskrita, like Sarala Sanskrita Manaka set by the Sanskrita Bharati or whatever. But then this author, because he is writing a prose, and Gadyam Kavinam Nikasham Vadanti, if you can write the best prose, then you are the best poet. Otherwise, you are not. Composing verses is easy, but composing best Gadya prose is very, very difficult. So he, because he wants to prove his scholastic thing also, scholarship and intelligence, he uses the past perfect forms many times, and the young Luganta forms, the intensive based forms, which normally we don't come across in the modern literature. Like Pariya Chaishit, Vyari Rachat, Nari Nrityat, Vyashishrayat, Vari Varti, Anukuli Chakara, the Chvi formations. Anukulam Karayamasa will be the simple one. Anukuli Chakara, Achali Kritya, Pratyakshi Kritya, Swayati Kritya. So Chvi formations also. Abhuta Tadbhave Chvihi, that is what goes for Chvi. So he uses many such forms. And we have seen many examples of the Shlesha and the Yamaka and Anuprasa. But it is not only the Shabdalankaras which our author employs. He employs Arthalankaras also. And in the Arthalankaras, what makes one composition very profound is Arthantaranyasa. Okay. So some of the Arthantaranyasa which he uses, I'll just quote one or two examples. Aniyanapi rogaha ripurva gocharamatra eva shamaniyaha. Such a nice sentence, Aniyanapi rogaha ripuhuva. Aniyan, very small roga. If you see even the smallest symptom of a disease, there itself you have to medicate on that or eradicate that with medication, operation, whatever. That has to be treated there itself. Don't wait till it grows, because the growing could be cancerous. It could be very fast, right? So, Aniyanapi rogaha, same thing is with Ripu. Ripu also, it is not that every time the Ripu will come marching against you. He will do something privately, secretly, infiltrating or subjugating your land, your property, your people, bribing your people. If you get even the smallest hint thereof, you should treat that immediately. Aniyanapi rogo ripurva gochara matra. The moment you sight it, shoot at sight. Gochara matra eva shamaniyaha. Similarly, Irsha, Rosha, Dvesha, Vesha, Kalusha, Buddhi, na Duradarshini Bhavati. This is also a very beautiful Arthantaranyasa. Arthantaranyasa normally gives you the Swabhavokti Alankara, and not Swabhavokti, it gives you a universal truth, so to say. which can't be nullified by anything. So such type of buddhi na duradarshini bhavati. Which type of buddhi? Irsha, dvesha, dosha, vesha, kalusha. One which is stained, maligned by irsha, dvesha, and rosha. So by anger, by jealousy, and by hatred, if your buddhi is maligned and stained, then that buddhi is of no use. Now, why it is, stated that Amatya Rakshasa, who was a very loyal minister of the Nandas, he is a great minister, great skills, governing skills, a great officer, you can say, strategic planner, but his nishtha is at the wrong place. He's at the place of Nandas. You may be very good, you may be very intelligent, but if your nishtha is at the wrong place, your loyalty is at the wrong place, then it will bring ruin to you. And therefore, best adhisthana, a good, nobler adhisthana is to be provided. And therefore, all these efforts of Chanakya, he is not interested. He is a selfless mendicant Brahmana. He doesn't want any pada and pratishtha. He would have been easily a minister of Chandragupta and ruled before him. But then he wants to hand over everything, assign Amatya Rakshasa everything, and therefore he is telling him that, and at the end, Chanakya Charita, it is stated that he bows down to Rakshasa, that please come here to Chandragupta's party, favor him, because if the Kshatra, what you can say, the physical strength and the intelligence prowess, they come together, then only there are chances of victory. Only one thing, chakramekam na vartate. Chakramekam na vartate, as I think Chanakya says it, or in Panchatantra it comes, Chanakya only. Sahaya sadhyam rajatvam chakramekam na pravartate. Yeah, this is Arthashastra. Sahaya sadhyam rajatvam. The kingship needs sahaya. And that sahaya is amatya. Ama is one who stays near. Like the word amavasya. The Chandra stays near the sun, and therefore it is not seen. Ama, nikatam, vasati, iti. So amatya, one who stays near you, one who is always accompanying you. Such an amatya is necessary, and therefore all his efforts are centered for bringing that amatya rakshasa to the proper, appropriate king. All his nishthas were at the Nandas, who were not good rulers. Now Chandragupta will have a wider perspective and a holistic vision of getting all the people under one umbrella and fight the Akranta. And therefore Amatya Rakshasa's help is very, very necessary. And when there comes, the Malaya Ketu, at the end it is stated, Malaya Ketu is bound and he is brought. And people ask him, the Senapati asks Chanakya, what is to be done for him? And Chanakya says, I have given the danda to Amatya Rakshasa. Whatever he decides, I am not going to interfere. So this is like Kurmongani Vasarvasha. A true person, once he has assigned and deposited something, entrusted somebody with some power, then he should not interfere. So we have a very bright, very noble character of Chanakya here. And I really fell in love with this Chanakya Charita. So I make just an appeal to all the listeners here, do read this wonderful prose. And even now, such prose things are being written. So this is very, very promising for the future of Sanskrit, I must say. Hari Om. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Gauri Mahulikar ji. That was once again a very, very interesting, a very new perspective, in the sense that, like you said right at the beginning, we tend to when I say we, again, there will be exceptions, but on an average, people tend to link Sanskritam with a particular, you know, oh, it is Anadi, and it's perhaps more old literature, classical literature, and all of that is absolutely, at least the classical aspect of it, in the sense of it being a carrier of some of our wonderful ideas, is very true. But it is also important not to miss out on the new and what is emerging and what is also coming out. And therefore, this series was kind of thought that might be useful. So, our series is called Contemporary Sanskrit Literature Introduction to Different Genres. That's the series with Gauri Mahulikar ji. And as I had mentioned at the beginning, in case that was missed, this is the fourth video in that series.
Yes.
The first talk was Contemporary Sanskrit Literature Introduction to Different Genres. The second was Harish Chandra Renapurkar ji's contribution to Sanskrit. The third was Patriotic Literature in Sanskrit. And this one being the fourth, Biographical Literature in Sanskrit. All links to all previous talks will be accessible from the description section of this video. So people should be able to access even the previous ones, and similarly in the previous ones in the description, the earlier videos. So with that, I once again thank Dr. Mahulikar ji for sharing her views on this particular topic, and I look forward to recording the next video in this series with her very soon. Dhanyawadaha, Mahodaya. Thank you so much. Namaskar.